Simon Hayes, Chief UK Economist at Barclays Capital, who's with us now. Good morning to you. Let's talk about those minutes, though, first. I'm wondering what you think they will tell us about what's happening and also about the BOE's thinking.
Well, I think they're bound to be very gloomy. Bear in mind that many economists thought that the Bank of England would wait until November before doing more QE. The fact that they went in October, I think, shows how concerned they've become about the economic outlook. And it really does hinge on what's been going on in the euro area. That's where the deterioration has been over the last few months. We already had a gloomy domestic situation, but the international situation has got worse on top of that. So I think there'll be a lot of concern expressed about the external outlook. And
Mervyn King was really playing down how monetary policy is limited into reviving what he actually called the reluctant recovery. As you said, though, the QE that was announced is more extensive than we thought. I'm just wondering what effect it will actually have this time around.
Well, I think QE can be effective. The big question is, how much do you need to do for it really to have an effect? And we don't have a lot of evidence to go on, frankly. I suspect that the MPC will need to do more than the £75 billion extra that it announced this meeting.
And the same sort of thing, the same sort of policy, just even more money, or do you think they'll twist it a little bit?
No, I think for the time being they'll do the same sort of policy. They seem happy with the notion of going into the gilt market and injecting the money there, and there's still plenty of scope for them to do that.
Peter Spencer from Ernst & Young Item Club told me this week that the UK economy is at a dangerous junction. How dangerous do you think it is? What are the weakest areas right now as far as Britain's concerned?
Well, I think the biggest concern is from Europe. We've seen a very marked slowdown in demand there, and that's affected UK exports.
And King was actually very keen to say we've got to sort out this imbalance as soon as we possibly can.
Absolutely, but on top of that, European banking markets have been affected, bank funding costs have risen, and if that's sustained, then that could lead to even tighter credit conditions here and across Europe. So there are serious concerns emerging from there. On the other hand, we think that policymakers are in the process of trying to come up with solutions to these things, and so we could see an improvement.
To what extent do you think the Bank of England's focus has shifted, perhaps, of combating inflation? We got those terrible figures yesterday, 5.2%, to actually look at growth going forward. They are very, very confident that inflation will come down to around 2% in the next 12 months. Are you?
Well, this is a crucial question because the Bank of England's credibility basically hinges on inflation falling sharply next year. People are focused on the effects of VAT, the effects of energy price rises, but in some ways they're not the interesting things. We know that they're going to happen. We know that they're going to lower the inflation rate. The question is, where do they lower it from? Do they lower it from 3% down to 2%, so we're at target at the end of next year? Or actually is there more persistence in inflation? And even though we do get the falls, we're still not back at target. That must be a serious worry for the Bank of England, I think.
And a lot of commentators have been reducing their growth outlook for the UK. What's yours? Have you done something similar over the next 6, 12, 18 months?
We've been revising down our forecast. We think growth will be a little below 1% this year and only a little above 1% next year. I think the concern really is that with something like quantitative easing, it takes quite a long time to have an effect on demand, and so really it's not going to provide a near-term boost. And
when you look at the gilt market, is the British economy worthy of, when you look at the yields, it's almost like a safe haven? What's your take on where gilts are at the moment?
Well, it just shows you that quality is a relative notion.
Yeah.
You look at the
nice
UK.
way of putting it.
Absolutely. Well, you look at the fundamentals of the UK economy, and everybody knows that it's poor, it's difficult. We've got very weak growth, rising unemployment. The deficit reduction plan may not be on track when they come to update the forecasts. But even so, the situation is perceived to be better here, or less bad here, than it is elsewhere. OK, we'll have to leave it there. Simon Hayes, Chief UK Economist at Barclays Capital. Thank you very much indeed. Good to talk to you.